It is 7 o'clock, Tuesday, November 15th, 2022. I'd like to call the Town of Lake Mills public hearing and special meeting of the electors. Call the public hearing of 2023 proposed budget to order. Notice posted at the town hall and on the town's website. There's two people in the public hearing tonight. So this will be
Only one's an elector.
one's an elector. So the first call is out to you.
Do you have anything to
say?
We do have copies
And the
of the budget over on the small table by the wall there. Total revenue and cash balance is fine. We have an increase of 4.72%. Biggest changes, well, some of it was moving things around to different accounts and stuff. We do show the increase that will be approved tonight up to the $200,000 for the highway additional levy amount that we wanted to do. That shows on the proposed budget. Yeah. You guys have any questions or anything you want to point out that's
on revenue? No.
on the
On
revenue?
expenditures, though, I do just want to mention that our public safety went way up because of the EMS situation.
Mhm.
And that's kind of a big guess as far as what we budgeted, but we gave it our best shot. And it went up considerably, 12.3%.
Yeah.
And it could be higher, it could be a little lower. We don't know.
We didn't have any firm numbers to work with, so.
Which cut into our highway expenditures big time, so. That's all I got to say.
Anybody else?
Those are the two biggest things down there.
Okay. Karen, did you have any? No?
Okay,
No.
so we
I'll go.
close the public hearing?
Well, I'll go. I could get a call out.
Yeah, call
So
three.
second call, I did did the
Okay.
first call already. You'll need a second call. And the third call.
So I would make the motion to close the public hearing on the proposed budget.
Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. Motion carries to close the public hearing for the budget. It is 7:03 on November 15th, 2022. And I'd like to call a special meeting of electors to order at the town of Lake Mills. Notice it's posted at the town hall and on the town website.
Keep in mind, the electors would make the motions on that, whether whoever is an elector in the room can do that.
So the discussion is to approve the total year 2023 highway expenditures pursuant to section 81.01-3 of Wisconsin statutes.
I will motion to approve the 2023 highway expenditures.
Right. Any other discussion?
The total amount for the highway expenditure. What we have to hand here.
$364,072.65.
Thank you.
That includes the 200,000 that was approved in April addition.
Okay.
No other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Okay.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Discussion to adopt 2022 town tax levy of $664,900 for additional levy for highway reconstruction to be paid in 2023 pursuant to section 60.10-1A of Wisconsin statutes. And that's this resolution. You want to read that now?
Yes, we should read that.
Okay, this is the full resolution. So
Cheers.
Resolution of the town electors to adopt the total town tax levy, special town meeting of town electors, Town of Lake Mills, Jefferson County, resolution number 2022-1115. Whereas Wisconsin statute 60-1- parentheses 1A authorizes the town electors of a town to adopt the town tax levy at a town meeting of the electors. Whereas a special town meeting of the town electors has been called and properly noticed to approve the 2022 total town tax levy to be collected in 2023 pursuant to Wisconsin statute 60-10-1A. Whereas the town electors, after proper notice, have via a special town meeting vote authorized the town of Lake Mills to exceed the allowable state levy limit. Therefore, the special town meeting of the town of Lake Mills, Jefferson County, Wisconsin, by majority vote of all eligible electors duly assembled voting on this day, 15th of November, 2022, hereby resolves and orders as follows. The town electors of the town of Lake Mills, Jefferson County, Wisconsin, adopt the total town tax levy for 2022 to be collected in 2023 in the amount of $664,934. LLW line 11, insert the total town tax to be collected, including both the approval levy increase and any debt service payments and other adjustments taken on the worksheet.
So that's the total of the two that are on the budget.
Yep. The town clerk shall properly post or publish this resolution as required by law under Wisconsin statute 60-801A within 30 days after its adoption. No,
So now this is where we would need electors to
Make a motion.
Make a motion.
Resolution.
A second.
thank you.
any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
You want to count?
Yes, we should do a hand count so we can, because we have a portion I have to fill out. So
All those in favor?
all in
raise your
favor,
hand.
say aye.
Aye.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay.
All opposed, say nay.
0.
Motion carries 7-0.
Are there any abstaining?
Any abstaining?
0. Okay.
0.
Motion carried.
Yep.
Yep, motion carried 7-0.
Okay.
Discussion or decision of clerk's wage increase for next term. This was discussed back in April as well. To raise the clerk's wage for the next term. Obviously, the town clerk's responsibilities with the township have always been part-time, but as we all know, Robin's position in the last several years especially has increased to a full-time job, and we're just trying to catch her up a little bit with the rate of inflation and as all the extra work that's been piled on in the last couple of years, and it still continues to be there until we get out of this environment.
And the increase that we're proposing is in addition to what was approved in April, which we're also reallocating or cash applying funds that are coming from a segregated account. So this is the increase that proposed tonight is not coming out of the tax base, it's coming out of the boat launch fees that are collected to cover the work that I do relating to the boat launch management and stuff like that. So we're reallocating the funds that way.
Yep. Correct.
And that's approximately $5,000.
Correct, yep.
Yep.
So what Dave had proposed during our budget meeting when we discussed this was raising it up to 32,000 a year.
Yeah.
I currently in this term is at 24,725.
And this will not take effect until after the 2023 election.
Right. Yeah, I just want people to know that it's a raise for the position, because whether I'm here or not, the same amount of work is going to be needed to be done by somebody.
Correct.
So,
It's the glue.
Mhm.
So we need
Yeah,
a motion
motion.
on that.
I will make a motion that we raise the clerk's position for the term of 2023 and beyond after the election to $32,000 per year.
I second it.
Any other discussion?
No. Did we decide that some of Sharon's time is gonna come out of the Joint Rock Lake?
Correct, yeah, we
Yeah.
are gonna reallocate 5,000 of that for her as well, because she manages all the mailing out of the permits and stuff. In which she had an increase, approved in April to go up to $15,180 from your current.
9,000.
No,
No,
I think, is it 12?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's like, well, yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're trying to get everybody kind of on a caught up.
And you're happy, Sharon?
Yes.
Okay, got a motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Need a hand count on this too? Or
No.
no?
No.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the special meeting of the electors.
Right.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries to adjourn the special meeting of electors. It is 7:11 on November 15th, 2022, and I'd like to call the public hearing of the Town of Lake Mills to order. And this will be for public comments on the proposed text amendments for a bundle of ordinances being considered include 1-2, 1-4, 1-5, 1-7, 1-8, 1-14, 1-16, 27, 32, 34, 311, 53, 58, 511, 512, and 64.
And just a side note that ordinances 1-7 should be rescinded
Correct.
and 1-16 should be rescinded. And because we're gonna combine those into a new ordinance in order to cover the records retention schedule.
That's,
Because those both address records retention, so we're gonna combine those into one that's recommended by the state.
that'll be 1-7, correct?
Correct, yes. So that will take this place.
Yep.
Yeah, the drafts with all the, and it was all minor changes, and some formatting issues and references to a fee schedule and stuff that were all redrafted, and they were all posted to the website for viewing.
Any other, I guess I'll make the first call for public commentary.
Do we want to run through what the titles of the different ordinances are at all?
You can, these are major changes.
No, I mean, I'm not gonna go over the changes themselves, but I can at least let people know which ones we're talking about, so they know. So 1-2 was the saving clause, which is a administrative ordinance. 1-4 was on officials and our roles, and that was really minor text. General penalty is 1-5. 1-8 was the police department. 1-14 is the Lake Mills Municipal Court. 1-16 is one that's going to be rescinded. That was on destruction of obsolete records. 2-7 is assessor's duties regarding confidential records, which acts a little bit different than the other records retention. 3-2, I think I got it ordered here. Regulation of dumping and waste disposal. 3-4 is regulation of transient facilities. 3-11 is regulation, prevention, detection, and suppression of fire and fire-related hazards. 5-3, establishment of bulkhead line for part of Rock Lake. 5-8, prohibiting the operation of motorboats on Mud Lake, Bean Lake, and Hope Lake. 5-11 was the Lake Mills Parks Committee ordinance. And 5-12 is regulations for construction and reconstruction of roads in the township. and 6-4 was snowmobiles. I think
These gonna get.
they're currently all in draft form on the website. Once they get signed, I'll scan all of them with the signatures and put them all on the website. And I think overall, and correct me guys if I'm wrong, none of these changes affected how the ordinance actually functions. It's
Correct.
all just
Yeah.
text.
Yep. Text and the fee increases, or the fee changes, whatever.
Referring to the fee schedule for the
Schedule.
fees rather than having the fee
Correct.
listed in the
Yeah.
ordinance itself.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe 2 calls a week.
Yeah.
Yep, third call, the public.
I make a motion to close the public hearing on the proposed text amendments to those ordinances listed.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries to adjourn the public hearing meeting for the text amendments to the ordinances. All right, to the 7/16, November 15th, like to call the Town of Lake Mills Town Board meeting to order. Goes to the town hall and on the town website. You
Make a
Okay.
motion to adopt November's agenda.
We need to amend it.
can amend it here.
There's a,
Oh, right, right. Go ahead.
you want to let me do? I'll make a motion that we amend the ordinance on old business number 11 item. There's an item F, which will remain F, but on the last sentence, it's discussion or decision of proposal to create an ordinance regulating chickens will move down to item I under old business.
We're amending the agenda.
Yeah. Oh, the
Yeah.
agenda.
Yep, the
Okay.
agenda. I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Approval of the October minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the October 11th meeting.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Approval of the treasurer's report.
Make a motion to approve November's treasurer's report.
Second the motion. You have one question and keep on this, the parks fee.
Mhm.
That didn't increase again. I don't know there was one for sure parcel street, the one on Conservation Road. So I'm just questioning it again, how are these fees being collected?
Well, this is so we can't collect them until it's actually approved.
Okay,
So I'll be sending, I think the best way in past it's been verbal saying, hey, you gotta pay this. And I think Jared's you're talking about,
yeah,
they are not through the full process yet at the county. So it's kind of I think we need to maybe rework that where that's required up front, and then if it doesn't pass, they get refunded because it's really hard to chase them down
yeah, and
afterwards.
they're being forgotten. I mean, it's
Right.
easy to slip through the cracks here, and you know, it's been done recently too. They slipped through. I think you're right. I think the plan commission should collect the speed.
So I know we kind of used to do that, and then it was like,
Yeah.
oh, no, you can't because they're not approved yet, so. Or we can't say we should hold a check, legal liability wise, we shouldn't be doing that either, but I think we should just say we'll reimburse if it doesn't get approved.
Well, either that or we put a letter together and give it to them at that time, and then we keep a copy in the file, so we have
Like an invoice.
so we have a listing of these. We can discuss this at a different
Yeah,
agenda item, but just wanted to see how it's laid out.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Approval of the town board expense sheets.
Officer screening, just have,
It's mileage for,
Robbins.
yeah.
Make a motion to approve Robin's expenses for 197.06.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Approval of general fund voucher.
Make a motion to approve November's disbursements of $47,884.62.
Second that motion.
Which actually for the month of November, we took in more money than we spent.
That's,
That's the goal.
Yeah.
that's pretty good for November.
That's right when I saw that. That's pretty good. Like I say for November.
Should be seconded.
Yeah, I second.
He seconded it. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Reports. Police report.
All right. All right. For the month of October here for patrol, 24 hours of patrol time and the 3 complaints there. Spent about an hour and a half on those complaints. You had 12 traffic stops. Issued 4 warnings, traffic warnings, issued 8 traffic citations. 6 hours were spent on speeding enforcement. A few park checks, a couple extra toll checks. That's it for that. I'm not gonna jump right into the speed sign. We can talk about that.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I talked to Robin about this, and I think she talked to you guys about use of the speed sign with certain speed complaints in certain areas. We did have a grant a few years ago about getting a permanent mounted speed board, which we still have on Sherwood Hill Road. But the portable ones are nice. My experience, we've had it in other departments, they've been hit or miss. They're just nothing but problems, or they work great. Currently, the one in the city works great, from what I've been told. And I've asked them before if we could use theirs. Now with the new chief, his guidance is before he considers it, and I don't know how permanent it is, but he wanted something in writing from the town board that if we would use it on occasion for certain types of speeding enforcement and complaints, that if we would break it during a process or it got broke while we were using it, that we would cover any expenses for that. Kind of make them feel better if we use it and we won't have any issues. So I brought that up as an option. We also had an option about, if we had certain grants or certain other money that we could buy our own, it'd be great, but you never know if you're going to get that lemon or you're going to get that good one. A lot of different agencies have them, so we might be buying a problem, or it'd be nice to have. I've also asked the sheriff's department too to use theirs. They also have a lemon. So theirs hasn't worked for 2 years, and they're trying to call specialists in. So they're doing what a lot of people have. So we can't currently use their speed board. So if we get some signed agreement, that's something you guys want to do. That's just another resource we could put out as needed. There is liability. Every time I've used one, we never had one break or damaged. It's just normal wear and tear. It just doesn't, the radar doesn't work. But as far as somebody hitting it or crashing it, I mean, obviously things can happen, but they'll want us liable if that would happen.
And this came about because of a complaint about speeding on, was it Sherwood Hills Road?
Sherwood Hills Road, right at Sherwood Hills Meadow and RNS. And Sergeant Walters did sit out there for about 2 hours, and he did write somebody for speeding. It was actually a delivery driver. I don't know if it's FedEx or whatever.
That's pretty common.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually contractors.
Yeah.
And then other than that, he did, but and it's hit or miss. You could sit out there for 5 hours, get nothing. As soon as you leave, there's 10 of them.
Yeah.
So,
So does the city use their signboard every day? Or does it?
I don't think so. I don't know that for sure. I don't want to speak for them, but typically it's used for just, complaints, or they just want to float down for this construction area or this or that. So if we would use it, it would be, during certain events, like that bike race would be perfect. Just put it right there on S. It kind of slows people down. Or if we have certain speeding complaints, we can put it up there for about a week and help slow people down in turns. And that one is really nice too, because not only does it give you speed, but it has this data collecting. So they'll say during that 5 days, 300 cars went by. This was the lowest speed, the highest speed. This was the medium speed. So if somebody says, people sometimes tend to over exaggerate on how fast people are going. And that's good something to come back to on saying, hey, out of all these, the highest speed was 12 over and the medium speed was 6 over. So you have a little bit of data with it too.
Correct.
But basically this discussion is the liability if we were to use it. Would it have something right?
Yeah, the one in Short Oak Road, the fixed one to me is, one, it's in a terrible spot.
Well, that was one of those things where it was a grant. It was free. A lot of complaints in that area, and it has to be mounted somewhere solid and with a permanent power source.
Right.
So you're really limited on where you can put that.
Yeah, which is, really unfortunate,
Yeah.
because it's the big straightaway is the airline strip or whatever, coming into Short Hills neighborhood, it seems like.
So that's something we want to talk about in the future about getting our own speed board. That'd be a nice resource, but we have other things to worry about. But
Yeah,
possibility.
that one's also on the GFI switch. It's a tricky spring.
Oh.
All up there on the ladder, right? I thought, so
Really?
that's what it was.
Oh.
Plugged into a GFI. Most moisture was.
Wait, it's wet?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You want this on the list for future agenda items or not yet?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Okay.
Try to get something written up.
Yeah.
We try to get like a draft of something written up for the next meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boat put away, everything?
Yeah, boat is put away. Jet ski. Yeah, winterized. There were some issues with it, and I don't know if I should bring up the jet ski thing here another time.
Well, bring it up, nothing will be decided on it. So,
We had just talked about that jet ski is, well, with the way we have having a hard time getting people, but it's, even when we were full staff, that jet ski didn't get used a lot. I don't know. We got it before I even started working here. It's one of those resources that we don't use a lot, and I would think we pay more than we get out of it for the winterization and everything, and the storage and everything. The guys that do work it, we had talked about, would it be worth just selling? It's a good machine. We really take care of it. And if it's something that, the town would want to sell and maybe use that money towards a patrol boat or something like that, we just don't get use out of it like we should. It does get used slightly, but how much it pays to maintain that, I guess it's up to you. If you guys want to keep it, but everybody that works it, I think would definitely be okay with selling it.
and that process would be a bid, either sealed bids to the public here or through that auction house system that you use, the state auction, right?
Yeah. So it's just one of those things that I just don't, I think it's a really neat tool, and I don't like getting rid of things, but it would make sense to sell it eventually. You just don't. The patrol boat, when that's fully functioning, is all we really use. The speedboat is a secondary boat that just doesn't get used as much. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Something to think about.
Thanks, Sergeant Miller. Plan Commission report of proceedings from.
We did not have a meeting. No.
Good night. Happy Thanksgiving.
No report, no meeting.
Cambridge Fire EMS report.
One day. I'll do the easy stuff really. We approved a $30,000 expenditure that was going to be taken out of the reserve fund for purchase of radios that would be compatible with Jefferson County's new radio system. So it's always a battle. We always call it the inoperable radio systems, but Jefferson is different than Dane. So anyway, $30,000 to upgrade that. The other one is we adopted a zero tolerance for drug and alcohol. That there's no alcohol or drugs on any commission property. commission vehicles. And also there is no alcohol or drug consumption 8 hours before a scheduled shift. So the other thing that goes into that is there is a little bit of provision if there's the volunteers, if there's a call, they had a beer, as long as the blood alcohol is less than 0.04, it's still going to be tolerable, but they cannot drive a commissioned vehicle. The other provision that was put into the drug and alcohol provision was that for prescription controlled substances, they are allowed to be on some narcotics if they do the proper notification. And it's prescribed by a doctor, so that's, I don't know if you're interested in that, Tom. Yes, to that. So anyway, that was approved unanimously. It was one of those things that just kind of got missed. The majority of all municipalities, emergency services all have drug and alcohol prohibitions. So we just kind of cleaned it up a little bit. And, and there's a couple other reasons behind it, but I'll get into the dirt. But the other big one was the joint fire and emergency medical services. It was proposed and discussed that, first of all, the fire chief in Cambridge, Terry, is going to retire in December. So they kind of leaves the door open to combine those two offices. So what we are attempting to do is to take the chief medical director and the fire chief and make that one office. So the medical director would kind of be the boss of the house. And there still would be all of your flow charts with your lieutenants and captains all underneath that. So, because that's going to be a big job, but to make it a little more professional. And also our feeling was going to be that the response times are going to be less. All of the paramedics are all dual trained. So you would have fire and EMS people, fully and full-time staff there to respond. So response times should be less. So there's really, other than having two bosses in the same house, it's still going to operate the same. It's just that one office will be condensed together. So in that, then what you have to do is the intergovernment agreement would have to be changed because that's not the way it's stated in here. So Tom, you can kind of take a look and probably pass it to Jim too. Jim, you're really good at fine tuning these things. Pretty much what's done here was you're taking out the fire chief, and it's the EMS fire chief director's position. So it's just mainly, it doesn't change anything other than, just simple little verbiage. And there was a couple things that were taken out that were duplicates in here of other statements. So I guess if you guys want to look at that and see if there's any other changes you want to make in there, so we can, I can sit back down with the other commissioners, we can kind of go over it. Now, the other thing that goes along with this is this has to be done by resolution. And our commission attorney, Steve Zach is his name, really super bright guy. He works with a lot of other fire commissions, so he's very knowledgeable. He and the chair of the commission are willing to come to the boards and explain this whole system, of the details of this. But if you don't, if you guys are comfortable with me voting this, first of all, we have to have a vote here. It has to be either approved or not approved. So then it goes back, and Steve was going to write up the resolution, so there's nothing that you have to do, Robin. So what happens, it has to be approved by the individual municipalities. Then it has to go back to the commission, then the commission votes on it, and the commissioners have to vote the way their boards voted. And it has to pass unanimously, or nothing happens, it stays just the way it is. So once you guys have reviewed that a little bit, if you feel comfortable with not having the commission's attorney and the chair of the commission come in and present it, then we can eliminate that if you feel comfortable with what's going on. It's not required that they come in. It's just a thing that they're holding their hand out to every municipality. So
And what's the timeline for this? I mean, when do you have to have it?
they're looking at sometime in December. Well, no, I'm sorry. They would like to have the boards make their decision in December. So I guess Robin, if you would put on the discussion and decision.
So we need to rework the intergovernmental agreement.
No, the Steve Zach is reworking the intergovernmental agreement
And the resolution.
and the resolution. So those are the changes we have right now, but if you guys want to look through it a little bit to see if there's anything else that you want to change in there, I could take it back to Steve and have him clean that up. So, but anyway, that's the rundown. It has to be passed by resolution, and it has to be board voted before it goes back to the commission.
Let's, I guess you're gonna have this on the agenda next December.
Yes,
Okay.
so we'll try to get a draft form of that.
I hope so.
So
Yeah.
that it's clean, it's ready to go.
Right, yeah, that was our objective. So then, I guess, if you guys would like to have, Steve and, Mark Cook, the chair, come in and visit with them, at a town board meeting, I would need to know a little bit ahead so I can let them know, so. And they're willing, I believe they were gonna meet with Cambridge Village Board yet this month. So, whatever you guys wanna do, if you feel comfortable,
Well, I already got a call from the fire department. They didn't like this at all, so.
yeah, well, I tell you what happened there was,
Cambridge.
when we did the drug and alcohol, we had two people get up, throw their pagers and credentials down on a table and walked out. And when we get done with the consolidation, two more got up and walked out. So they're not happy. It's change. But for Fire 1 and Fire 2, there's really not going to be any changes in the way they operate. It's just condensing that office. I'll stop there because I can give you opinions why I think there's people upset, but that's
Well,
Yeah.
change is hard.
change is tough.
That's definitely tough. But if you look at what a lot of other communities are doing, they are combining that position. Because it also makes it easier. I mean, we're in a very difficult time where it's just very hard to find firefighters. It's hard to find EMS
Yes.
workers. So you have to build a culture, and building a culture with two different directors is very, very difficult.
It's a tug of war.
Yeah, and
Is really what it is.
so, I mean, that's kind of what it boils down to. So, I mean, there's very successful stories, a lot of successful stories of combining that position. In fact, I talked to one while this whole Lake Mills EMS thing was going on. Before that, to provide them with another consultant option, that is Pewaukee's. He does both over there and runs a very good show. So, I mean, it's totally obviously doable. There's always going to be people that don't like change, don't like that.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. But
And you're right, Tom, because Baraboo is doing it right now. Some Prairie is right in the midst of doing it. Edgerton, they have already done it, so it's happening all over, and there's more consolidation. I'd have to look back at my emails, but I just got one a couple of days ago. It's down in the southeastern part of the state where 3 more municipalities came in and signed an intergovernmental agreement. So there's actually one service that has 16 municipalities that have all teamed together. So that's all about costs and spreading equipment, spreading people. So yeah, that's kind of it. The other little side conversation I had with Paul, our medical director chief, that he was reiterating that if Lake Mills EMS, if something happens there, that they are ready to step in and cover us 100%. Still very, very interested in, doing some business with us. I did talk to him a little bit about crunching their numbers a little bit. I told him that their per capita cost I thought was a little bit high. And I also thought the $85,000 buy-in was something that should be eliminated, because when we're going in at a per capita cost, that should be reflected in that per capita cost. But then Paul's point of view was that what he and Mark Cook were looking at is additional costs, additional people is what they were looking at of that $85,000 buy-in. I told him I still was going to fight him on it. Of course, that depends on what you guys think about it.
85,000.
And
Yeah, one that, and 2, 85, it doesn't really get you, it gets you a worker for a year, maybe a year.
right, yeah.
And after that, then what?
Sure.
So I mean,
Yeah.
to me, that doesn't really make any sense.
I think most of it was just, nuts and bolts stuff.
No, right.
Equipment and all that. But so anyway, he said that they would kind of take a look at it and, see what they can do with the numbers, but they still are interested. So
I mean, the only thing I have to say about the, just ask about those guys coming in here, top of the board. I mean, I'm fine with that, but I wouldn't base my decision on one group coming in the door.
right, yeah, most of it, what they would be
I
here,
receive things on the outside, so it's.
yeah, mainly what their ambition to come in would be just going over the intergovernment agreement.
Okay.
Is what it is. So, once you kind
That
of
makes
take a look at it, and if we can get the draft cleaned up, and
Yeah.
because Robin, you have to sign it, and Tom, you have to sign it, and
No, that's fair.
yeah. So I'll keep you posted, but that was kind of. It was really kind of going on.
Like a copy of it.
I'm gonna make copies of the one that you have here, Dave.
Okay, sure.
That would be
I
great.
think we're gonna make copies of this as well.
Yeah, that's
So
fine.
let's not forget to get them to you before we leave tonight.
Yeah. Okay. I guess the other little tidbit was we re-signed the contract with Verizon. There is a Verizon booster antenna on the fire station. I think it was $680 a month with a steady increase going up through. So it's been up there for I don't know, probably about 15 years now. They were talking about taking it down and eliminate it, but there's a dead spot down through Main Street of Cambridge, so they re-upped the contract, 3-year contract, so that was signed, which that goes right back into the budget and the general fund, and it's offset. So, other than that was.
It's a meeting.
That's good.
I could tell you some stories.
All right, thanks, Dave.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Joint Rock Lake Committee report. Wendy.
Our committee's kind of struggling with attendance at our meetings. I think we'll probably lose one of the city members because of her job is taking her on the road a lot, and she legitimately just can't make meetings. I don't know when that'll happen, or for sure it will happen. So, I ask you guys to think more about appointing somebody else to the committee. We have trouble making quorums. the joint, Rock Lake and the RLIA are attending each other's meetings, giving us a lot of back and forth communication, understanding what each team wants and what each team can do for each other. We did reword and I see it's on the agenda, the early detection AIS citizens monitoring group. You asked to put something in it about who's responsible for the cleanup, and we did. It's pretty clear, and I have a copy of that to give you. Sorry, I didn't realize the meeting was tonight, and I didn't get things off to Robin in time. I apologize. So we added that. We also talked, I think, last time about education to the public, and we kind of called them, for lack of a better word, PSAs. We still don't have a good name for them, but our team does want to do a trial run of maybe putting a short, very short, one paragraph. Did you know about the lake? Did you know about AIS? Did you know in the leader? We're still working that agreement out with them, and the sources will come from the County Land and Water, DNR, and other sources that can give us information. And we have updated the fundraising recommendation as you asked, and I guess we need to put this on the agenda for next time because I didn't bring a copy of it for you. We added in accordance with the town gift and donation ordinance. So that's what you asked us to add, so that it was real clear that this isn't kind of standalone, this is something we can do, and as long as it's in accordance with that ordinance, the gifting and funding ordinance. Our committee, the Joint Rock Lake Committee, would like to invite the Water Patrol to do a presentation at one of our next Joint Rock Lake Committee meetings, one that would fit in their schedule. It doesn't have to be next month or the next month. We could work with them, and that way it's open to everybody. General public can come and listen to things, and we would give them questions or things that we would like them to bring up.
More public hearing you're thinking about?
No, not a public, just a presentation to the Joint Rock Lake Committee. Public can come to our meetings already, right? Yeah, I didn't, unless you think that's
I'm
different.
just wondering if the public has a lot of questions, if there should be a more open format or not.
We did it last year and it didn't really bring up a lot of questions. We had them on our agenda last year at one of the monthly meetings. They did a very fine presentation of, what their priorities are, what they've seen, It was pretty good. I don't know, do I need to make a recommendation to ask your permission to do that?
It's more lead time for those guys. 'Cause
Yeah.
they're-
We can fit whatever will fit in their schedule, before they're back out on the lake doing work. It's just what this, be fine with us.
And it's really up to them. I don't
Okay.
really, I mean, it's public service, so to speak, for their regard, but I mean, once again, it's a part-time police force, so it's,
Yeah, so we'll give them plenty of lead time and let them decide, and if something comes up, something comes up, but
I'm wondering too, how much changes from like year to year, like what are the actualities that really changes?
I only
Could it be an every 2-year thing or, 3-year
Yeah.
thing?
Well, I can ask them what they think, because, they did it last time.
Yep.
How's that? Okay, so, I did receive, I know it's tabled, but we did receive more information regarding dredging from the Land and Marine Supply. They gave us a different estimate for dredging the entire channel. If we rent the equipment and supply the labor, the cost would go down to $127,175. That would not include, replacing and repairing the turbidity curtain, which is still $20,000. So our last bid from them was like $270,000. But if we would rent the equipment and supply labor, that's a whole other caveat of liability, but it's just something he brought up to us, and I'm letting you guys know it. But I know it's tabled right now. And I have copies of this, I'll give you. And then, at the last meeting I was at, you said to investigate the history of the Majala Channel, who put the channel in, Well, let me tell you, I checked with the DNR, Jefferson County Land and Records, and I read abstract, my whole abstract for my property, which goes back to 18 something.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are no permits recorded from the DNR or the county for dredging in Jefferson County during that time, and they may not have even needed the permits at that time. Okay, in the end, and I have a bunch of other stuff here for you, but in the end, the developers were Margaret and John Last, L-A-S-T. They presented a plat of the Majala Shore in December of 1957. This plat map was approved by the town of Lake Mills on December 10, 1957, and by the city on December 21st, 1957. So I've included a copy of that in my packet that I'm going to give you, and I will forward an electronic copy to you, Robin. And then I just included and looked at a few things that were in the UW report that from 2012 that gives you some of the history. It goes back to, it was government land, it was port property, it was Strasburg property, and then it was Mildred and John Last, and then a little bit of the dredging information if you, makes it easier for you to just pick it up if you want. And that's all I have. Any questions?
So items, I'm clear, do you plan on having the town board discuss at the December meeting?
Fundraising?
Okay. And yes.
It's on your, it is still tabled on today's meeting.
It's still.
We need to clean up.
Okay, let's do
Make
it.
it happen.
Now let's do that. We'll put that, that's fine for the next meeting too. And then, those are the two, unless I will come up with something else. Our meetings kind of end up being either right after yours or, and we kind of have to wait a whole month. So this was like 2 meetings that we met since you guys met last. And, again, think about finding another person to be on the committee.
Well, we'll need two because
Well, we
there's
need
no
one-
one short. Yeah.
We'll need one from the city if we lose Kathy. So, thank you. I just support here and can hand this out to you.
So you're short one city resident.
Well, we have
Sure.
2 city right now,
We're short one.
but I think we're really short just one from the town right now. But I do believe we're gonna lose one from the city because of her job. I also included in this packet the provision that came with the plat map. It had said nothing about dredging the channel, but I thought I'd include it for you just in case.
Okay. Well, some of that cleaned up. So,
That's why I asked specifically what things.
Yeah, I
Because everything else I think that's related then should be.
I can talk
So,
more
ready with it.
in between.
So you have a, Wendy, you have a covenants in that too, that were recorded with that plat?
What do you mean? I don't understand.
Well, there were covenants that were recorded with that 1957 plat.
Yeah, is that what, and maybe I
There's
just
like
called
a
it.
3 or
the
4
provision.
letter.
Yeah, that's what I called the provisions. I did get
Oh, okay.
that. I didn't know, they didn't have a title in it, so I forgot.
Well, it goes through the
What's
homeowner,
allowed and what's not allowed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and there's piers out in that thing which aren't allowed. Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff in here that was a little bit.
Well, I was wondering if you had, you could change that agreement by your homeowner, if you had a homeowners association, but the way it's,
Wasn't there a committee or something associated with
at
that?
first there was, yeah.
But then
They're all
that just kind of
Yeah.
dissolved.
And they were supposed to create their own, but I don't know if they ever did. So anyway,
So it's expired.
no,
It's
the
still legal
covenants,
binding.
yeah, yeah. They're only allowed, war, basically. No piers.
I think there's peers in there. I think there's, anyhow.
I know there's piers in there, but I don't think you're allowed.
Just-
So in other words, it's
Anyway.
an update.
Okay. I think this is very complete.
But I don't know, now that really actually becomes water of the state, right?
Well, I talked to the state and, that's like talking to the wall.
It's part of- it's- You're talking about this part of the lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as
Put this
state.
out here.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
the law, yes. But does the state want to take any responsibility for it? No,
I made no decision.
they don't want to take responsibility unless there is some kind of emergency or something that, they don't want to spend money.
Right, yeah.
Which unfortunately is left, it leaves such a huge gray area. Whose is what?
There's,
And there's nothing in my abstract that said it was dredged or not dredged.
No, and there's no records.
I think they changed property hands. There was a guy named Phillips. He was always on the last line that said, he is free and clear to keep the channel. Maybe not so many words.
This is, well, it's.
there's this one note on here which is confusing. It says, note, public park to become private upon dedication of a 60-foot street, providing access to the channel or lake within 600 feet of the south boundary of plat.
The south
Do you-
boundary of the plat is the south edge of channel. Not the
Yeah.
property that's- So.
So
that
Cedar
property
Lane,
was
the-
all- Cedar Lane is that road they're talking about.
Okay.
And there was a different development after this, because I think I found the documents on that.
Yeah,
That's
that
the Bayou.
Bayou West.
The Bayou West,
Yeah.
okay.
I still don't understand that public park to become private. I don't know if that, which is Majala Park, I assume.
No, but
No?
Park, I think, is the property like where my house is, from the edge of the I was talking to the gal at the land record, from the south side of the channel all the way out to wherever was a park. They called it a park. And that's the part that they said, once they put the road in, then that would be a park anymore.
And then I got developed.
So that got dissolved. Well, that was a 10-year deal anyway, wasn't it?
But there should be a record of that somewhere within the deed.
Yes.
But just to give you another little caveat, if you just one of it. No. Sorry. Channel. Okay. Well,
Chance.
okay. And I need the.
That's,
So it says, anyhow, the channel, the big channel, like from the curve out to the lake. On this, it looks like, that isn't the channel, that's the channels here, okay. So this says it's a, public channel, dredged public channel. And over here, it says, this is the part, I think, just past the corner. My house is here and this is the corner, Wes is over here. This then says, future dredging project.
Not even go there.
I didn't read about that. For more information. But now I want to go back and get more. It's really quite, yeah, I guess we could do whatever you wanted to back in the 1950s.
well, yeah, there wasn't any.
There
zoning.
there weren't the same regulations, obviously.
Well, I mean, the state, even to this, well, now the state wants to regulate it and regulate dredging, but they have no records of that thing ever being dredged. And so what I don't understand is, just don't understand.
Well, I think the channel was,
I mean-
I think, what I've read, the channel, I think, was always there, from that corner out to the lake. There was always a channel, whether it was navigable with a boat, there was always a channel there. They dredged it bigger, so property owners could have lake property. Then this other was wetlands, from the corner back toward the
That
road.
makes
It was
sense.
all wetlands.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, that's all I know for sure. It's very difficult to drill down into, but
okay, yeah, well, we'll get that, get to that. So, thanks, Wendy. A lot of information. A lot of history. Okay, town chair report, city, county, state communications. Sat down with city, met the new city manager this week, the other day. Wasn't a whole lot discussed. Obviously EMS was discussed a little bit just because they're working on some things. It didn't sound like they were gonna have any plan in place till the end of the year, or at least hear back and get things resolved with the consultant they have. Until the end of the year. Lake Mills EMS obviously goes till July 1 of 2023. And that's what they're relying on. They are getting other options. Ryan Brothers is giving them a quote. So they are getting other options. They don't know what this consultant is going to come in with as far as information. Once they do know that, then they were going to invite the towns back to the table. So that was kind of the big gist of that discussion. They also brought up the municipal boundary agreement again and thought we should run that past our attorney because they thought it was a benefit to us. But
Yeah, it's a benefit, Sam.
Yes,
As far as
right.
I'm concerned.
so
I agree.
anyways, that was one of the discussion points. So that was kind of the gist of all that. Nothing at the town state, is just a little bit of back and forth and trying to figure out some of that dredging stuff. Talked about road report. There was a few fall potholes that had to be addressed. Rockways.
That's what Northwest Services had billed us that we paid.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was expensive. I saw
Yeah.
that.
How's Fayetteville Road now, Jim? I haven't been down there.
It's nice right now.
Yeah.
You just fly right through.
Yeah, there you go.
Hit the bump, right?
Which is the most.
Fall's gone, so
Oh, okay.
for now,
For now,
we'll see how it goes through winter. The road heaves.
again.
Hopefully it doesn't.
Yeah.
They spent a whole 6 hours. They spent 6 hours on that thing that day. I could not believe it.
Will they do it all by hand?
Yeah,
Oh.
Yeah.
Probably did.
yeah, a lot of equipment and a lot of people there.
Yeah.
Do we need to
It took forever.
try to maybe get something more competitive price wise?
And they were the most competitive because I think we had one in prior years, like 15,000, 11,000 for the wedge and.
Road report, Corey's gonna get our Wisconsin roads approval information into the WIS program, which is just basically confirming our roads, which
Right.
shouldn't take long. That's December 15th deadline. And then I think we're gonna talk about a potential grant later in the business. I think. Yeah. That's it. ETZ.
Just take that off?
Yeah.
Okay.
Parks Committee report. We'll talk about this a little bit later on. They were talking a little bit about the kayak launch.
And where is the kayak launch proposed? Because,
Well, they want to do it, I think, in Mahala.
and I have heard that that may not be a possibility. So
That's what I may have heard too, but I don't know if that's accurate information. That's going to be probably a Zango question to figure that out. And then the approval of, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, the doggy do station at Ferry Park. That was pretty much just that meeting. And looking at grants for peers in the future. For Ferry Park. So it's getting pretty run down. All right, Town Hall Facilities Committee proceedings.
So I don't think we've met since, or we haven't had a meeting since the last town board meeting because we bumped it back. But tomorrow night we have a meeting starting at 6. We're going to talk to a representative from Ellers to kind of get a preliminary idea of how financing could work for us. And then we're still honing in on our final presentable design to the public that we plan on presenting sometime in January for public hearings and such. So the public to know, especially after this election, with people having to stand outside, and thankfully it wasn't a horrible day weather-wise, you know, so there are some needs, and I want the public to know that the committee has really worked hard on finalizing a design that's gonna work for us. So, especially with elections and meetings, and really focusing on what town business is and then what the town hall should be functioning as for us.
Parking also appeared to be.
Oh my gosh, parking was a nightmare.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think there was definitely a realization for the need that day. That's about it.
Excellent. Thanks, Robin. Period of public comment. This is time for the public to comment. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes. Come to the podium if you plan on speaking and present your name and address. Anyone want to speak tonight?
My name is Tom Krejci. My address is W7852 Shore Acres Road. I'm here just to say thank you on behalf of all the residents of Shore Acres Road for getting the road repaired. Beautiful. I know that was financially, and listening to the budgets tonight, I know it's always a stretch, but it was a long time in coming. I appreciate it, the support.
Excellent.
Glad to hear that's done.
Yeah, we apologize. It took 1 year longer than we anticipated.
I thought it would get pushed up again.
Really?
The weather held out.
I stayed on Brian. There was a lot of back and forth, but we got it done. There was a lot of changes in the end with their schedule and stuff. We got it in. He's a superstar when it comes to that.
And most people don't tell us we do something good.
Yeah, thanks. We appreciate that.
Oh, and Jim just came back and added that gravel.
Oh, okay, good. Down at the end?
Garbage
Yep.
truck will be happy.
Yep.
Applications?
We didn't have any.
Don't have any. Old business, discussion decision, the status of Lake Mills EMS services table. There's anything new here.
No, there's nothing. They just move on.
Yep. Discussion or decision to propose, discussion or decision to propose land acquisition south end of Crossman Road. Nothing to report there as of now.
They get the wording corrected better. Then I took the guardrail part off.
Yeah.
Okay.
The discussion or decision to propose text amendments for a bundle of ordinances being considered include 1-2, 1-4, 1-5.
And the rest of them.
And the rest of them, 1-8, 1-14, 1-16, and the rest that were talked about during the public hearing.
There's a couple motions here, I think. I'll make a motion to rescind ordinance 1-7 and replace it with the new proposed ordinance that's in the package.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, that's the first motion.
It's still gonna be 1-7, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and, okay, and rescind ordinance 1-16.
Correct.
So, one motion.
Second Jim's motion.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
And I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 1-2, 1-4, 1-5, 1-8, 1-14, 2-7, 3-2, 3-4, 3-11, 5-3, 5-8, 5-11, 5-12, and 6-4.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
And then we're gonna sign these at the end?
Yep, I got them all right here.
All right.
That's back my pen.
Yeah, don't go anywhere.
D, discussion or decision of possible change of the Cambridge CMS service for the town of Lake Mills residents. No, there's anything else.
I know, there isn't anything else other than what I already mentioned, so.
Yep, okay.
Sometime we're gonna need to
Refine.
decide what area we want to go to Cambridge. Hone in on that a little better, get some
Okay.
fire numbers and, you know, so we're ready to go in July.
Comes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Okay.
Well,
So,
preferably before April.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Do we, is this, I gotta find it now, where did I put it? Where did Do we need to keep this on the agenda?
Yeah.
Just want to add as a
So-
placeholder each month
Yes.
until this
I
is
think so.
completed?
Yeah,
Okay.
until it's resolved.
Okay,
Until you make a
just so that we
decision.
understand, there may be times that we have something to discuss on it, maybe times that we don't.
So how would we do that, Robin? If we took out the two areas that Jim had suggested on his map, would the county be able to spit out all those fire numbers other than?
They should be able to select the areas and give us an idea and give us a listing of what properties are in those areas.
I know the last time we did this, when I was chair, we did that
Fire.
little bit of
We changed, yeah.
London, Proville area out there. I had to work with Jefferson County Dispatch and Dane County Dispatch.
Mm.
They needed the fire numbers and stuff. So I don't know if, I would hope Cambridge, Paul could help us with that when we get to that point
Okay,
for Dane County.
sure. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because
Yep. I'll talk to them a little bit about that also. I'm sure, they're pretty eager.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good. All right, discussion or decision or recommendation regarding a citizens monitoring group. I don't think there's any reason on the table now tonight. Discussion and or decision of non-payment by the Jefferson County Drainage Board for reimbursements of work done under Grayson Bridge. I haven't heard.
Yeah, me either.
He's not
We're
given
gonna
us
have
that
to
summary
really-
yet.
Yeah, I think we're really gonna have to push and say, we need this done.
Did our new attorney ever step up to bat?
No,
No, he's supposedly was gonna have a summary for us shortly, and I didn't see it. come
shortly, it's 2 months, 3 months later.
Yeah.
So,
Typical. And that was after the last thing we sent him, because we had to send him, we sent him that other deal with that.
I think we just need to put up pressure.
I will shoot him another email. I don't know if he responded to my last email. All right, discussion or decision of appointments to vacant committee positions.
no,
Nope.
you got the I. Oh, yeah, you're right.
We'll do it.
No, I'm sorry, you're right.
Yep.
Gee. No, we're good anyway.
Yeah.
Just leave it there. Discussion and or decision of updating the town fee schedule for 2023. H.
Do you have, we didn't make any changes.
We didn't make any changes,
But
so,
you have a new resolution sometime? on
that's
that?
what I think we need. If we weren't gonna make any changes after we adjusted the budget and did all that, then I can come up
Okay.
with a resolution for December, so that it takes effect January 1st.
Okay.
Okay,
So that's
Sounds
gonna be
good.
on the agenda for December with the resolution.
Alright.
Because you don't know of any needs to make any changes on that, correct?
No. Okay. I, discussion or decision of proposal to create an ordinance regulating chickens. New business.
I did mark up the one that you.
Oh, do you want to discuss it?
Well, we can, I marked it up based on our last discussion where we were not gonna have a permit.
Okay.
So I made the changes. So we didn't need this.
Okay.
If that's the way you wanna go, I'd give this to Robin and she could, make the changes.
Make a
draft.
draft. for you
Get
guys
ready
to
for
look at.
December.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. We
My
need to-
copy file.
we don't need to make a decision to do that. No. Yeah. That's. I mean, that one was.
Yeah, I used the one from Oconomowoc.
Yeah. Appreciate that. Thanks for help, Jim.
Which I hear a donkey on. Down, but not right now. When we were down combine at Shore Hills Road, I could hear a donkey.
Yes, Britsky, or Brandel's on the corner there.
Now it sounded like it was down by house. Schwarzwald, okay, so yeah. that makes sense. Okay. Keeping the coyotes away? I just, when you hear the roots just grow, it's like, what the heck is that?
She's got to that.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yes,
Right.
it is.
New business, discussion or decision of STP road grant for Mud Lake Road. So this just popped up. I haven't even gotten done fully digesting it, but I've talked to Brian about it and he was gonna dive into it a little bit further too, but if it makes sense, I think we should go ahead and recycle that Mud Lake Road grant into that. Unless you think there's a different role, but if we could apply and reinvent the wheel from the engineering standpoint.
No, I saw the email come through from the Towns Association on that, but it wasn't that clear as far as what the STP, what funding, is that 50-50?
That's usually an 80-20.
Oh, that'd be nice.
STPs are usually 80-20, but
Okay.
So you'd be,
LRIP is a 50-50.
so you'd be recycling the grant that we didn't get, that information and engineering into this new one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which would be just a matter of, yeah, wouldn't take much to do it. It shouldn't. But I do want to make sure that it's, get the approvals, go ahead and make sense to do it.
Is that something that
Smith.
Brian's gonna help you with as far as applying for? Or is that something Corey would help you
No,
with?
I would say Robert Smith did because they did the
Okay.
initial application.
I just make sure on what the percentage of cost share is on that one. We didn't say that in the.
It won't be any less than, it shouldn't be any less than 50-50, and our next recycle is going to be into an LRIP on that, which would have been 50-50. That's the next available.
I know, but the big difference between 50 and 80
well,
as far as.
Well, that's why I wanted it on here, because if there was another road you were thinking of, that's a big road that you think you want to
No.
at least make it on, or at least make the attempt on. I just thought we had the money in it to deal with it.
Okay.
And it's a road that really needs to get done.
But it wouldn't be in time for that smaller amount that we had to give back to be able to use that.
That's,
in my opinion, our two worst roads we have in all of those is Mud Lake and North Shore.
I won't disagree with you.
And they're both big roads, they're long roads.
Why they invented fat tire bikes. Do we need to make a motion on that? Just go ahead and wait to December and see more information on it.
I think you need more
Yeah,
information, right?
More information.
Okay. B, discussion and or decision or approval of a joint Rock Lake Committee budget and police department budget.
Well, we have the items in our budget, but I don't think we've notified the Joint Rock Lake of any changes that we made on theirs. And we can say that the police budget we accepted as was, as he presented.
Good.
But we did make some changes to Wendy's. So we have to refresh my memory. It's been a long couple of weeks here. We took out the $200 in the supplies from their budget. And the fundraising activities, correct? This is what,
I thought it was good.
so we put it in as 1,000, just so that she's aware.
Because the
What
total
we
was 2,
approved.
right?
15. So the $200 was the office supplies and $300 was the fundraising.
Yeah.
Okay.
We left in the money for this
Yes, 1,000 total.
seminar and,
Right, for the one on-site registration for $650 and 2 online registrations for $200, and then we left in the EIS and Lake Information Education for $200. So a total of 1,000 is what we have listed on the budget.
Okay.
if you need supplies, you just run it through.
Yeah.
Run it through.
And paper, yeah, that kind of stuff's reasonable as long as it makes sense of what it is that you need.
Now can we get a motion on the Joint Rock Lake, I guess?
Make a motion to approve the Joint Rock Lake Committee budget of $1,000.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Can we get a motion for police for the budget?
I don't know what those numbers are. Yeah.
Put it away. Hang on.
It's in,
Hang on.
It is presented.
Yeah, it should be in the budget. It's broken out of the budget. Let's give the total numbers. Law enforcement, $57,741 for general law enforcement, which includes road patrol and lake patrol. You approved $26,948 for a total of $84,689.
84,6
Sorry, it's close to that.
84,689.
Thank you, Sharon.
Make a motion to approve the lake patrol and police road budget of a total of $84,689.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
Those are really the only two areas that we get outside information on for our budget, so I kind of felt it was good to have them as approved items.
We ever get anything from Humane Society?
We have not. So they're gonna get paid what we have in the
Yeah.
budget, I think.
Yes, sir.
Which was last year's.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's gonna go up. They're flooding now. All the people figured out COVID's over and now they can't afford pets.
A plane just crashed with 56 dogs on it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pewaukee area.
Walkers. They all survived dogs.
Discussion or decision at Town of Lake Mills Police Chief position. I put this on here because I feel it would be necessary to go into to get a motion to move into a closed session in early December to talk about the next steps for the chief position in the police department in January.
Now that the city's got their chief in place.
Yeah.
And you want to do that after or at the end of the town board meeting in December?
December the first week or.
Oh,
I don't, if something works for you guys, I guess we'll look at it.
yeah, I don't know if you could just do this because when everybody else is here.
It will have to be coordinated, because I'd like a couple people to come and talk during that too.
Did you get those dates first, you think?
So our regular meeting date in December would be the 13th.
Can we do it right after the meeting? December's not a big meeting, is it?
Not usually. I mean, we're
And that's-
getting quite a few items, but
No, well, it's the 13th, right?
the 6th Plan Commission, the 8th is Joint Rock, Lake, and Parks. The 13th is Town Board, and the 15th is probably the facilities meeting.
Yeah, I mean, we could play.
Piggyback it with Town Board meeting.
Yeah.
They're front end or back end.
Back end.
Back in.
I was gonna say,
Otherwise,
You have to lock the door. That's true.
Okay, I'd make a motion to hold the closed session for the chief's position December 13th after the town board meeting.
second. Is that gonna work with your?
I'll just notify them.
Oh, okay.
If it doesn't, then we'll just have to make a change later on.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Yeah, discussion or decision of town ordinance 1-7
We
and.
did this.
Yeah, we did.
She did.
We've been there, done that.
oh no, this is, okay, we already rescinded, but this goes on to the part about the revised version of it. And we should look at that, and if
Oh,
we're
yep,
ready to
yep.
move that forward
Okay.
to public hearing and such.
Oh,
It's kind of a twofer there. Sorry. So we have the Wisconsin Municipal Records Schedule as a records retention schedule that the State of Wisconsin Historical Society worked with the state offices to create. And the Wisconsin Towns Association gives us a sample ordinance that we can use to adopt that schedule. So we adjusted that to meet our needs as far as the town's name and such. It pretty much covers everything we need. It's a very robust schedule. I use it pretty much already anyways, so.
The two ordinances we had, 1.7 dealt with the records retention and
Mhm.
this. And the other one, the 1.16, kind of did the same thing, but kind of indicated for board members of what records
Mhm.
they could keep or destroy or whatever.
Okay.
So does this one do both? I assume it does, the statutes.
The statutes cover it, but then
Everybody, the clerk's responsibilities and our responsibilities.
that's my understanding of it, yes.
Okay,
I think it's pretty much the same across the board. I mean, the board members' records you hold in your hands are town records. They have
Correct.
to be treated the same.
Right.
Emails, all of it. Which is why you have your own emails.
Yeah.
And that goes for committee members, that goes to commission members, anyone that's a representative of the town.
Yeah, and that's been a state statute for a long time, because I deal with that.
Right?
well, I read it. It didn't have any comments. Looks good to me.
So we would
Should we just move it?
move it
Make a
forward.
motion to move
Move forward to public hearing.
forward to a public hearing, September.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Discussion and decision on amendments to ordinances 5-15 here, LC. Ordinance.
So what I did was Jim had made some preliminary suggestions when I put into a document that I gave you tonight, because I've been a little busy, so I got it typed up for you. So that's a starting point for you guys to start with. And if you want to, I don't know if the Joint Rock Lakes Committee is currently working on it or not. You want me to forward that to them?
I took the one that Wendy gave us probably two meetings ago or whatever. And,
You said you were done with it, right?
Yeah, we just, yeah.
and I basically put in the language that you had, which was city and town and a few little minor things. So the only thing that I did not change was the establishment, membership and organization. I left that alone because you had changed it to, when you first start up, there's a process of alternating positions and things. And then your committee changed it to be like it was just on running. So you took all that out.
Okay.
I don't think that's a good idea. Let's say your committee stopped for 2 years. You don't have any members and then you want to start it up again. Then you'd have to go back and redo all that. So I think those should just stay in the way they are.
Okay.
That was the only difference. So it's the way it was originally.
Okay,
It's
so
not
the-
with their change on that portion.
So the draft that or the information you gave me was actually part of what they drafted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, I
so we're
used
good,
the
okay.
ordinance.
Yeah, we drafted one that had all the changes and just taking one of them out.
Right.
Yeah, there's two things that kind of stood out to me, and one is, and I've talked about this even with the city, is committee definition by state or ad hoc, temporary. And this has not been a temporary committee by any stretch of the imagination. It's been ongoing for a long time. And the definition of that by state statute is commission. So I feel it probably should be changed
To commission.
if we're going to continue down that road.
And that's what we had done for plan commission as well, correct? At one point?
No, you can read into that, but I mean,
Mhm.
that's basically
Yeah.
what I had gathered from the state information. And actually, this is in agreement with that as well. So,
So I think we need to understand the differences between what a committee can do and what a commission can do as well.
Yeah.
I think there's some legalities of what they're allowed to do that changes if they become a commission.
we would have to state that in this document.
Yeah, you would have to, probably the statutory authority is probably different statutes or whatever, but you'd have to have the attorney look at that. Does the city want to have their attorney take a shot?
They actually can work on this one because it's
All right.
joint.
Yeah,
This is short, okay.
so we could use them. They're free.
Leave them a copy and of our budget.
I can talk to Dan about it.
Yeah, and, he just hasn't got it on the agenda. He said it won't be on in December. I call him every so often.
It probably.
So we need to
It'll
probably
be on in January.
update Dana where we stand with what we've approved so far in this draft that was updated then.
The second thing I saw on here is the spelling out of independent organizations. If you read bullet number 7 under, it'd be 1-7, or no, 7. It goes on to talk about the DNR, which is a government affiliation. The Priority Watershed Project, which I'm assuming is also a government deal. The Rock Lake Improvement Association, which is an independent organization. City Parks, which would be municipal, that would be government. Forestry Director, County Parks Department, government. And then the last says, and any other organizations or entities with an interest in Rock Lakes. I don't think Rock Lake Improvement Association should be listed in this document because that shows, that feels that you're favoring somebody. I think it should just be that last line.
Oh, it's just the last
The
line.
last line of the statement, because it should be the freedom of any organization to,
Generalize the language.
That we included in that last.
and I want the attorney's perspective on that, but I'm pretty sure you're gonna agree, so I believe Dan did at the same time.
Okay. Yeah, run it by Dan.
But then the rest would stay the same where it lists out the city parks, the DNR, because of the type of entities they are,
Because they're government,
because they're government? Okay, just want to make sure I understand that.
which makes sense. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, when you're dealing with independent organizations, you're not supposed to be favoring one or the other. It's going to be equalized value, equal share. So, I mean, they have that in a written document. Certainly legal, so something we can look at.
So who's gonna talk to Dan?
I can talk.
Okay.
Either that or I could do it as well, because I gotta. forward the
Well, we
draft.
want to forward this.
I'll
over.
just CC you on it.
I know it won't happen in December because I'm sure they're dealing with all the EMS and there's a
Yeah,
whole lot of stuff they're dealing with.
okay. I can copy it, then if you have anything to add to that, then you can just go with it, because he'll need a copy of this anyways.
Yeah, and at that point, if there's anything more depth as far as on the commission side of things, and it would have to go to the church. So be it. But
Okay.
it would be nice to get there as well. Just so we can get it cleared up, just like we have done with the rest of the ordinances.
Okay.
F, amendment, discussion or decision of the park committee's recommendation to accept donations from the area vet clinic for a dog waste station for Ferry Park. And this would be a dog eat station it would have the bags without the receptacle.
Oh, okay, so they're not gonna deposit it. I was wondering.
We talked about that.
How many times, who's gonna clean that out?
Yeah.
Well, we were trying to volunteer some people, but.
That's-
I was at the meeting. I should rather have
Depart.
maintenance person who's
Right.
picking it up, and then,
Don volunteered initially, that's like, I don't
it's very heavy, and during winter time it freezes.
know.
So it's a courtesy bag station for the dog waste is what it is. We're gonna provide the bagging, but not the bags, but not the
Yeah.
means to dispose if they need to take it with them.
Oh,
Correct.
all right.
So how many bags are we gonna find laying around in the park?
Well, I tell you what, it's better than finding,
else.
you know what, along,
Shoot.
because they're over by where the beaches and
Mhm.
all over the place. And it actually has gotten fairly bad down there. And it could be part of the reason why we're seeing
Casey,
It doesn't.
E. coli.
Between the geese and that, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay,
it's gaining, yeah, I haven't seen it gaining, it's not going down, it's a decline. Can we get a motion? It's accepted, I guess.
To accept, right?
I make a motion to accept the dog waste station for Perry Park.
So,
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Correspondence.
I received the town advocacy council membership form to renew if we'd like to do that. They're the lobbying side of the Towns Association. I believe we've contributed to it in the past, but I don't think I don't know if we've done it consistently, so. And it's $554.25, so I kind of felt you guys should maybe decide on that one. You should have copies of it in your packet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's not the membership itself to WTA, that's separate. That comes in June. This is the lobbying side, supporting their lobbying efforts on behalf of towns in town issues.
Just something like put on our December board meeting. I think it says that.
It's on the list now to decide or not.
It
It
is.
was in your packets to look at, so. Did you grab the? Yeah, there you go.
I don't see it on the agenda though. That's
yeah, I don't either.
to make a
Oh,
motion.
That was the amendment. Oh, that's correspondence, you're right.
Correspondence, yeah, it should be in.
You're right.
December.
I'm sorry. I was thinking that was the amendment one, but that was the dog waste.
That was about.
Okay.
So we need to put this on
We can
December.
put it on December's,
Yeah.
yes. Sorry about that.
That's right. Any other correspondence?
Just one from the city. Shared revenue 23,860.33.
Questions tonight?
Another thing that I received today was the resolution, and this is from a town over in Sullivan, but it's under the county because it's a resolution copy for farmland preservation plan. And they were adding some of the parcels to that new plan that they're doing, so that they're setting aside these lands that can't be developed as part of that farmland preservation plan. I don't know if you guys have seen any of this before, but that is a county project that they've been laying out. I think that's the first one I've seen come through since they approved it, I believe, unless I'm thinking of something completely different. So there's opportunities for farmers to consider farmland preservation.
So that's the one that doesn't qualify for wetland preservation? If it's in a growth area?
Without looking at that parcel, it's in the town of Sullivan, so I'm not familiar with it, so I'm not sure.
Because I know there's certain areas that.
Or designated growth areas,
Yeah,
right?
that do not qualify for.
I'm assuming that would be in an area in that particular town or a part of the county that would not be in one of those growth areas.
Mhm.
My understanding is the county has money that then they provide to the farmers who set aside their properties into this plan.
Yeah, because you can sell an easement or what is it,
Development rights.
yeah, development rights, that's it, yeah.
Yep.
Um,
Any
Good.
correspondence? Discussion of future agenda items?
All right, so this is what I've got. I got the speed sign that we talked about, the sale of the jet ski. I don't know if we want to talk about that yet or not.
Yeah, we
I
got.
understand.
Yes or no?
We spend $2,000 a year on winter.
Yeah, it doesn't
Right.
pay for itself.
Well, and it was repair too. That was a repair, this propeller. So, then I've got the intergovernmental agreement and resolution with the Cambridge
Mhm.
Commission. I've got for Joint Rock Lake, I've got on there the AIS and then the fundraising opportunities. Fee schedule resolution to adopt, chicken ordinance draft, the STP grant for Mud Lake Road, and then the town's advocacy council. course, on whatever applications may come in.
Here.
Anything else that you can think of for December?
No.
Okay.
We won't start any other ordinances yet.
No, please,
Let
no,
it
I need a
settle
little
down.
break. Let me get these up and on the
Yeah,
website first.
I
please.
agree.
Yes.
We'll tackle the next one or two.
Okay,
Okay. Meeting schedule.
we should say anything like the Lake Mills EMS will leave on here, the Cambridge EMS will leave on the agenda, right, as carryovers?
The Crossland Road
Crossland Road.
16th.
and Drainage Board.
We still really didn't clean anything up.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I think that's supposed to be November 16th on your town hall facilities committee meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Third, December,
Cutting and pasting.
December 1st, 2022, Parks Committee meeting, 7 PM. December 6th, Plan Commission meeting. December 8th, Joint Rock Lake Committee meeting at City Hall, and December 13th, Town Board meeting.
And then the
Closed session.
closed session.
Right,
Yeah, of course. Can we get a motion? to
Make a
adjourn?
motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned at 8:40.
Oh, we did good for him.